Here in this presentation, we will try to understand null pointers in details. Let me tell you, it is a special type of pointer. After considering void pointers, it is important for us to understand what are null pointers. So let's get started. What is a null pointer? A null pointer is a pointer that does not point to any memory location. Let me tell you, it is a special type of pointer that does not point to any memory location. Or in other words, you can say that it represents an invalid memory location. When a null value is assigned to a pointer, then the pointer is considered as null pointer. It is a special type of pointer. Null is itself a pointer. When we initialize a pointer with null, then that pointer also becomes a null pointer. For example, here in this case, we have initialized this pointer with null. So this is a null pointer. Okay. Now here are some uses of null pointer. The first use is, it is used to initialize a pointer when that pointer isn't assigned any valid memory address yet. For example, here in this case, we are using this null pointer to initialize a pointer. It is better to initialize a pointer with null when it is not containing any valid memory address. So it is a good practice to initialize a pointer with null. Apart from this, it is useful for handling errors when using malloc function. We have already discussed a little bit about malloc function in the previous lecture. Malloc function is a built-in function which is used to allocate memory dynamically. Malloc function returns a pointer, right? Sometimes malloc returns null when memory is not available. In that case, we can use that null for handling errors. For example, here in this case, this PTR contains the address of some memory location which has been returned by this malloc function. Right now, you don't need to understand this, okay? The one thing you should understand is that PTR contains the address of some memory location. If it doesn't contain the address of some memory location, then it contains null. Okay, that is also returned by malloc. Here we are checking if PTR is equal to null, then in that case memory could not be allocated. Otherwise, memory allocated successfully. As simple as that. If PTR is null, then memory could not be allocated, else memory allocated successfully. Now let's discuss some of the facts about null pointer. The value of null is 0. Let me tell you, the value of null is 0. We can either use null or 0, but this 0 is written in the context of pointers and is not equivalent to the integer 0. You should not confuse it with the integer 0, let me tell you. It is a special kind of value which is representing a null pointer, by the way. We can either write null or 0. Both are same in context of pointers. Okay. For example, here in this case, PTR has been initialized with null. Here you can see I am trying to print the value associated with this null, basically a decimal value. So output will be 0 in this case. Because null and 0 both are same. You can also initialize this pointer with 0. But let me tell you, it is not a good practice. Okay. Instead of initializing a pointer with 0, you should initialize this with null. To avoid any confusions further, it is better to initialize a pointer with null. Now here comes the second fact. Size of the null pointer depends upon the platform and is similar to the size of the normal pointers. Here in this case, when I run this code on my computer, I got this as an output, that is 8 bytes, right? So size of null is 8 bytes in my computer. It might be possible that it is 4 bytes in your computer. That depends on your platform. So these are the facts about null pointers, okay? Now let's discuss some best practices. Here, it is good practice to initialize a pointer as null. It is a very good practice, let me tell you. A pointer should be initialized to null if it is not pointing to some valid memory address. So it is a good practice if we initialize a pointer as null to avoid any errors, of course. Also, it is a good practice to perform null check before dereferencing any pointer to avoid surprises. Before dereferencing a pointer, we should perform a null check. Okay friends, this is it for now. Thank you for watching this presentation.